Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. It is time for me to go over my All-Australian side for 2025. Love doing this every single year. From an individual point of view, geez, there's been so many quality players this year, and especially when you look at the midfield crop of elite players, it's hard to fit a lot in, so there's going to be a few players stiff in this All-Australian team. But yeah, let's get straight into it really. We will be having some midfielders at half forward and some on the wing. That's just how All-Australians are these days. It's hard to put a pure wingman and a pure half forward there when you've got midfielders that have genuinely played forward time throughout games and have stayed forward throughout patches of matches. So yeah, I am going to be having some midfielders at half forward. That's just how it is. I apologise. But anyways, let's get into it. Make sure you like and subscribe if you do go on to enjoy. And we'll begin with the defence. We'll go with the back pocket fullback, another back pocket first. I'm going 𝐷𝐴𝐴𝐸, Sam Taylor and Callum Wilkie. So first off, 𝐷𝐴𝐴𝐸, been super for Brisbane this year. What a last 18 months for him, eh? He's really revitalised his career, the 36-year-old. He's just been a point of difference in that back line again for Brisbane this year. The real weapon of him this season is his kicking out of defence. It is something out of this world at times. Just off a step, bang, hits it in between a few defenders. It's over the top of a defender, perfectly into the bucket for a player to go on the end of. Yeah, he's been super this season and fairly consistent for Brisbane, the old man 𝐷𝐴𝐴𝐸. Full back, Sam Taylor. He is number one in the competition for intercept marks and intercept possessions. And whilst I feel there's not necessarily many locks for key defenders, he'll probably get in there, I reckon. And he's had some massive individual games for the Giants this year. He has had a few injury woes, but he has played enough games, I think, to qualify. I think he'll have a big say come finals time. And Callum Wilkie for the Saints, just so reliable. And he's a good kick as well, coming in defence. Just overall, a really underrated player. Reads it well, tough as nails, one-on-one. Yeah, just one of the more reliable defenders in the competition, I feel, Callum Wilkie. Now move across to the half-back line. I'm going with 𝐼𝙗𝐿𝐼 𝐷𝐴𝐸, Harris Andrews, and Jordan Clark. So with 𝐼𝙗𝐿𝐼, I mean, you don't really have to say much about him, really. We all know what a super year he's had. Recently re-signed with the Saints, which is just great for football. Happy for the Saints and gives their club a bit of stability now. But his movement in the midfield the back half of the year has really elevated him as well. Just glides across the field effortlessly at times. So fast, hard to tackle, and some of his kicking on the run is just so damaging. So, yeah, really excited to watch him the next few years and just a lock, I think, in the All-Australian. And then Harris Andrews just has to make it this year. I thought he was very stiff last season. High up there again for intercept marks and intercept possessions, and he's been a real focal point for them, especially with Jack Payne going down the last 10 weeks or so now, and he's had some big games as of late to, I think, really shore up that spot in the back line for the All-Australian. And then Jordan Clark, bit of a personal selection here, but he's been so consistent, probably one of the more consistent defenders there is out of the likes of maybe a 𝐼𝐿𝐼 Asher or Bailey Dale. Really good two-way play. He's got great closing speed, he's great on the intercept, but also provides plenty of dash and a real efficient user of the football and doesn't panic under pressure. No, I've really liked Jordan Clark's season. I think he'll be in the team and he's on my half-back line. Moving across to the centres now, I'm going with 𝐓𝐴𝐸 𝐞𝐿𝐼 on the wing, followed by Noah Anderson in the centres, and then the other wingman being Max Holmes. 𝐓𝐴𝐸 𝐞𝐿𝐼, a great year for Brisbane. With Lachie Neale starting to slow down a little bit, he's really become the main guy in that midfield now. I mean, Brisbane's midfield is just bats real deep with the talent they've got, but more inside time for him this season. The last few years, his floor games have been pretty noticeable and he's been a bit of a non-sighting. But this season, he's really bumped up those low floor games and just still pretty impactful ones. But damaging on the inside, I think his work rate is fantastic, and he's been damaging inside 50 and on the scoreboard as well. And then the centreman, Noah Anderson, he's currently leading the coaches' votes. He's put his team on the back at times. And also similar to 𝐓𝐴𝐸 𝐞𝐿𝐼, he's also had a lot better floor games this season. And he has been tagged, but he's been able to break tags a lot better this year. But yeah, his inside-outside balance is fantastic, Noah Anderson. And the other wing, Max Holmes, I think he's one of the best players to his game this season. He's just been running all day, all season long. Versatile player as well. He can swing back in defence for Chris Scott and give them some good rebound. Top 10 of the coaches' votes and gives the Cats plenty of drive. So I think he's a lock for the wing in my team as well. For the followers now to complete the midfield, the ruckman, I'm going Max Gawn, followers Nick Daicos and also Matt Rowell. So Gawn, I've been pretty adamant on him all year to be the All-Australian ruck. I know I'm a Swans fan and I should be pumping up Grundy's ties. He's been super, but Max Gawn's just Max Gawn. When he goes on the bench, they're just a different team, and I really worry what he'll be next year if he starts to drop off with age, because he's just still so important for them. How he can go behind the play and take those important pack marks, just huge for how Melbourne go. Hit at work is the best of the best, and also being able to grab it out of the ruck and get those contest possessions out to his fellow teammates and give them first use. So Max Gawn been fantastic this year. And then the followers, first up, Matt Rowell has to be in the team alongside his teammate Noah Anderson. He's back after the year. He's really been able to take his game to the next level, and there's been plenty of talk on this guy. His outside game has drastically improved this year, and it's turned him into an elite footballer in 2025. He's been able to burst out of congestion and not just hack kick it away, but take those quick steps and really get out in the open. Got a pretty decent left foot as well. He isn't afraid to use that and hit targets on the non-preferred. And then Nick Dacos, just got to have the superstar in here. He, statistic-wise, hasn't been necessarily like a top 10 player when you look at the player ratings, but he's hyped there for the coaches' votes and probably one of the more influential players in the competition for their team. Has carried a few niggles here and there, and he has copped quite a few tags, but credit to him, he's been able to break a number of those tags throughout the year. His awareness is arguably the best out of any player in the competition, and he can just hit some beautiful creative kicks that really kickstart the Magpies' attack. So Nick Dacos on the ball for me. Moving across to the forward line now, half forwards, I'm going with Jordan Dawson, Jeremy Cameron, and Marcus Bontempelli. So as I said at the start of the video, I'm going with midfielders here, but Dawson and Bontempelli both have played predominant forward throughout games. Like, they've rested forward, not going on the bench, and they've been able to impact it aerially, especially inside 50. So Dawson been super for Adelaide this year, one of the captains of the year. I felt in comparison to last year, he's really improved his kicking. There was conversations I did hear about he was carrying a bit of an ankle problem, so that seemed to really help him with that heel this season. But just his outside damage is just what helps Adelaide so much. He always provides options in the corridor, handball, receive, usually really good inside 50. And yeah, his impact around the ground, taking those marks, is just so big to Adelaide and how they're able to move the football. So Dawson on a flank for me. Jeremy Cameron, not really much explanation here. He's an absolute shooting for the Coleman, over 80 goals. That's something out of this world from Jezza. Such a clinical finisher as well. And then half forward flank, the other one being Marcus Bontempelli. Again, this is just sort of an absolute shoo-in, really. It's just you plonk him in and you're done with. He has played less than, I think, 20 games this season, but geez, his last 8 weeks has been something out of this world. Impactful, he's able to stride out, hit lovely targets inside 50, and really does waste a disposal, always clean in traffic. Now for the forward pockets and the full forward, I'm going with 𝐓𝐴𝐶𝐼, Riley Thorthorpe, and Jack Gunston. So 𝐓𝐴𝐶𝐼 Pickett, playing for a side that didn't make finals this year, pretty disappointing season for the D's, but 𝐓𝐴𝐶𝐼, geez, he had a super year. He almost averaged 20 disposals, and he did average 2 goals a game, and that puts him in elite company when you look at the numbers from players that have been able to achieve that last 10 years or so. So because of that, I've just got to have him in, and he has had some freakish individual games this year, carrying his team on his back, and how he can just change games off his boot. Some of his kicks for goal have been remarkable as well. Bit more midfield time for him this season as well, and this is just where he always was at before this year. Just a bit of an inconsistent player, had some big games, quiet games, but I thought he was able to really string it together and have a real consistent year and a damaging one for the Demons. So he's in for me in the forward pocket. Riley Thorthorpe, yeah, shoo-in, I think, been massive for the Crows this year. Just turning into the complete full forward, really. His tank's really underrated. When he is the main ruckman, he's also able to outwork the opposition ruckman and provide an outlet down the line. Yeah, I love watching him. I swear that beard gives him some superpowers at times. And the other forward pocket, I'm going to go Jack Gunston. Yeah, a bit of a soft spot for him. Just a remarkable year he's had, and you've got to give him respect, especially those older players that find a bit of form. Sort of like Treloar from last year. He's not as old as Gunston, but he is in his early 30s now, to be fair. He made the All-Australian last year, Treloar, on a super year, and I think Gunston's sort of the same. Kicked over 60 goals this year. He's been a fine outlet for them. Such a smart user, as we all know. But yeah, he's enjoyed a real quality year for the Hawks, and over 60 goals is pretty special, high up there in the Coleman, so he sneaks into the forward pocket for me. Now for the interchange bench to complete my side, it's hard to squeeze in so many quality players, just 4 more we can pick from here, but I'm going with Ed Richards, Bailey Smith, Caleb Throng, and Isaac Heaney. So Ed Richards is an absolute must-have, and I feel a bit stitching him up here a bit, putting him on the bench. He probably should be on the field, because champion data-wise, he's been clearly the best player in the comp, and also player ratings-wise suggests that too. He's kicking inside 50, just so good, and he can do it on either foot as well. Even on the weekend against Fremantle, just cutting the angles with beautiful kicks on his non-preferred. But yeah, he's been able to really put together an elite season for the Doggies, and not just all necessarily Marcus Bontempelli. His damage 5 foot, has been remarkably good. And then Bailey Smith, yeah, he's a bit of an accumulator and can hack the ball a bit, but high up there for handball receives, and he's just been so important for how the Cats have played this year. They've been a real fast ball moving side, and he's just always providing an option. Big one as well, being he's currently top 5 in the coaches' votes. And then Caleb Serong, top 3 clearance player in the competition, and I feel I want to put in a Fremantle midfielder here, given they have made the finals. And yeah, he has had some quiet games and he's been exposed a little bit, but when he can get his hands on it, geez, he's so quality for them and so important for them in their clearance game. Another player in the top 10 of the coaches' vote, so I don't think it's that outlandish of a call to have Caleb Serong in here. He's had his quiet games, but so has everyone, to be honest. But been a real key component for Freo's midfield, no doubt. And then 𝐼𝙗𝐿𝐴𝐶𝐞 𝐎𝐥𝐝, I know I'm a Sydney supporter, and I do like to keep level-headed, and I've been trying to really consider this, but players that have had over 500 disposals and 35 plus goals in a season since 2015. 2017, we had Dusty, Danger, and 𝐓𝐡𝐞 all made the All-Australian. And the last year we had 𝐻𝐡𝐞 and Chad Warner who made the All-Australian. And 𝐻𝐡𝐞's the only player to do it this year. And I've said on the channel, I think a little bit before, that players that kick over 35 goals as midfielders is in the elite of the elite. We're talking the prime Chris Judds, the Gary Ablets, the Ben Cousins, etc. It is out of this world. And 𝐻𝐡𝐞, 37 goals for the year. I think he genuinely could make the All-Australian on that statistic alone. He's had some huge games for him. His floor games have been still pretty impactful, I feel. Just hasn't been able to reach the lofty heights on last year, which is fair enough because last season he was truly remarkable. So they might have missed finals the Swannies, but I still think 𝐻𝐡𝐞 might be able to squeeze in, and a bit of sucker for him. He has been pretty special again this year, 𝐼𝙗𝐿𝐴𝐶. 37 goals is out of this world for a midfielder, and I think he'll make the squad, and he's in my team. So everyone, that was my All-Australian side for 2025. Let me know what you changed down below, because this isn't just the definitive one and the one and only. This is just my personal one, so love to hear your people's thoughts down below in the comments. And I think it's a pretty solid team. Again, so many quality individual players we've seen this year, and it is hard to squeeze them all in, but I can see what the actual team is come Thursday. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you did go on to enjoy, and until next time, I'll talk to you later. See you later, fellas.